Yeah, pour it up, let the bourbon speak. Call me old-fashioned, we bringing that heat. 100 proof, sipping flavor on blast. Dabbling with the rear view, raise your glass. Bourbon hunting for unicorns, that's the chase. High ride heat, put a smile on my face. Respect to the OGs, yeah, they set the tone. Tucks, Mr. Lopez, I rock, Derek gone. Notes hit strong, old key smooth ride. I'll see you on the other side.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Call Me Old Fashioned, where we talk everything bourbon, whiskey, and of course, old fashions. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Not completely different, right? Granted, it's bourbon, it's whiskey, it's the same thing. But I get a lot of questions lately in the comments being like, is that expensive bottle really worth it? Should I just buy the cheaper bottle? And pretty much anywhere you're going to see on YouTube is going to be somebody saying you have to go buy the most expensive bottle every single time. And that's not always the case, right? But technically, I've never really blinded cheap bottles versus expensive bottles because I just figured, you know, it's just kind of, to me, it was kind of pointless, right? I was like, it's got to be. But today we're going to dive in. We're going to blind a handful of side-by-sides, expensive versus cheap, not completely cheap, right? There's some 50 ones in there. Some people say that's expensive, but we're going to blind them against something either more expensive or cheaper. You get where I'm going with it. So let's go ahead and dive into the first little batch here, right? We have a lineup, just so you can see it on the side here. We got some Old Forester, we got some Jim Beam, we got some Woodford's Reserve, some Russell's Reserve, and then some Sazerac Rye. We're gonna end it with the rye. And the wife already blinded these up because there's like 10 pours over here. It couldn't fit all here, didn't look good either. So I had her pour them up. They're labeled 1 or 2, right? Because we're only gonna bring 2 over at a time. Let's go ahead and dive into the first one here, which is going to be the Old Foresters, right? Now we have 2. We have the Old Forester 1924 and the Old Forester 1910, right? I have a little camera here. You guys know what these are. These aren't anything, too off the wall. But Old Forester 1910, I believe, is around $56 MSRP, and then you have Old Forester 1924, which is about $100. Now, that one went a little crazy on secondary, and you didn't really know what you were going to pay for. I believe I paid like $120 for mine, and I got mine a long time ago. So they're blinded. I don't know which one's which, but I'm going to let you know which one I prefer if there is a drastic difference. Now this one, obviously they're 2 different bottles, but it's kind of showing the Old Forester lineup in my opinion. The chat's moving quick. Let me get up with the chat real quick, and then we'll dive into the pours. Bourbon Daddy says, cheers, guys. North Florida says, let's go. Christian, cheers. High Top says, spit on me. Are we drinking? Or am I drinking? Of course I'm drinking. Why don't you have a drink in your hand? Because I got 10 over here, bro. I gotta pace myself on this one. Whiskey with Water says, ahoy. Blind, Ancient Aid versus Blanton's. I don't have Ancient Age, but one day. Christian says, oh, that's somebody else. iRock in the chat. What's going on, baby? Whiskey with Water says, I wish I could find that Saz 125. My bottle's almost gone, bro. It's damn good. So let's dive into this first one. I'm not going to necessarily try to pick it. I'm just going to tell you which one I think is better, or how far of a distance they really are. I like that. It has a nice little oak tannin, little vanilla caramel vibes, but nothing really jumps out necessarily. It's sweeter, a little harsh on the back end, like a little bitter. Well, probably like an oak tannin type of thing. North Florida says that she's enjoying some E.H. Taylor small batch at the moment. Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. By the way, as we go through it, I'm not going to let you wait all the way till the end. Each little round, I'm going to let you know the winner. She already texted them to me. She's not feeling that great. She's in the bath. She's going to go to bed here shortly. So I couldn't bet on her being awake for the entire live stream. Second one, just so you know, a little bit smoother, a little bit more, how would you word it? I'm like drawing a blank here. A little bit more complex is another way I can say it, right? This one has a little bit more chocolate, a little cinnamon. It's still sweet, still dessert vibes. Both of these is why I chose these. They both kind of give me dessert vibes for Old Forester. I think that one has a better finish all the way through, where this one has like a great up front. That little bitter oak tannin on the back end, though, not as bad. It's just a little bit more harsh. I would go with number 2. So number 1, number 2. Let me pull it up. If I had to guess who would win out of these two, I would guess this one just because I really like that bottle. But Old Forester 1910 is fantastic, and it definitely does better in blinds than really anything. Okay, number 2 is the Old Forester 1924. So that is the winner. 1924 did win this one. I would say they're not as far apart as you would think. Besides the finish, besides like the end, they're both just as enjoyable. $100, $120 versus $50. I would say, like, if you're looking at just price wise, like what's the best bang comparatively, I would go 1910. Right? It's more than half the price, and I wouldn't say it jumped out that much farther. This one does have a little bit more complexity, had a little bit of chocolate vibes. That's a soft spot for me, though. If it has chocolate in it, a little chocolate note, I'm a sucker. I'm sucked into it. You know what I mean? But the finish on 1924 was better than 1910. So let's move these over here for now. I have no room for them. Let's just do this. There we go. All right, and let's move on to our next one. Right, we're gonna cruise through a couple of these, and then we'll slow down a little bit. We'll slow her down. I'm like completely out of space. I might have overdone it. There might be too many blinds. You know what I mean? Maybe too much. But let's go ahead and move into the second round here, which is gonna be the Jim Beam lineup. Now, it's not Jim Beam itself, right? Just products from their distillery, which, granted, is going to be the Larceny Barrel Proof. This one is the A124, 124.2 proof. And then you have Little Book. This is Chapter 9, None for Granted, coming in at 121.8 proof. Now, price-wise is pretty drastic on this one as well. The Larceny Barrel Proof, the last time I checked, was anywhere from $65 to $70, right in that ballpark. Little Book's MSRP is like $160. So I don't remember what I paid for it, or I'd quote it, but I believe I got it from Publix, so I probably paid $160. And I always said, like, this bottle's great. It's a great basic bourbon, but I never thought it was ever worth the dollar amount. Right, I thought it was really good. I just didn't think the what you're paying really kind of followed through. And Larceny's always been a good one. So, guys, if you're just now tuning in, drop a like, subscribe if you're new for some reason. If you're new, like, what are we doing? Subscribe. Let me pull over the pours. Yeah, that little twist there is going to throw me off, I think. Number 1, number 2. So. I don't know what that was. Anyways, let's check the chat again. North Florida says, hit the like button, boys. Let's go. Christian says, bro, I got a Sagamore 10, 2 bottles of old Louisville 8-year Kentucky series, and I grabbed Cabernet Finish Ammunition bourbon today. Oh, fuck, you're right. Larceny is Jim Beam, isn't it? Whatever. Whatever. My bad. Are you sure? Are you sure this isn't Jim Beam? No, it's Old Fitz, bro. Is Larceny Heaven Hill? Bro, let me look it up real quick. Oh, fuck it is. My bad. What do I know? I don't know shit about whiskey, boys. Anyway, so we're gonna these two. Fuck the Jim Beam part. Is Little Book not from Jim Beam? I'm all over the place at this point. We're in shambles. I thought so. I also said, hey, let's pair these two because they were similar in proof, which I always said, like, if you give me something that's 126 proof and something that's 90 proof, I'm gonna know the difference. There's no question I'm gonna pick the higher proof one, right? These two I felt like had a fair comparison. I also thought they're from the same distillery, so what do I know? We get it, boys. You don't got to keep saying it. I understand. North Florida says just tasted the Old Fit 7, but it was foolproof. Tasted just like Old Fit 7 with foolproof. Nah, I don't know about that. That Old Fit 7 is fantastic. Anyway, we'll dive into these two. Again, it's not really about necessarily the distillery itself. I just try to get as close as possible. But I fucked this one up. I'm not gonna. I'll take the blame on that. But it's more or less like finding a really decent, cheaper-esque bottle compared to a more expensive bottle, right? Because that's the question everybody asks is like, should I spend the money $160? If the gap isn't $100 difference better, then why would you spend $160 and not just go get you a $60 bottle? Not every time, right? Because there's always a time and place for the expensive bottles. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass. Expensive bottles, they're good. But when you really try to nickel and dime it, is it worth the extra dollars? Most of the time, in my opinion, I don't know if it really is. There's some that 100% I'll be like, yeah, it's light years better. But we'll see. We're blinding up 10 different bottles tonight, so we'll see as it goes on. Drop a like if you haven't already, boys. All right, let's dive into this one. It's got a little bit of ethanol on the nose there. I mean, it's sweet, it's soft. You can tell like it's got a little grainy on it. Not as much ethanol, but still has a little bit. But this one comes around caramel forward more than anything on the nose. Maybe even a little bit of vanilla. Trav says, sup, just got in the shower. Trav, I like your style, baby. Like your style. All right, let's go into the palate. That was really good. I'm going to pause the notes for a second because I just want to go off vibes for a second. Because that was fantastic. Whichever one that was, I feel like that was the Little Book. I don't want to I'm not trying to pick them, but I felt like that was a Little Book and I just felt good about it. Like I felt like it was a good pour. They taste very similar. They taste very like different distilleries. I would be double checking now if I didn't already. Like this one's, it has a little bit more oomph to it. I don't know what it is. Like it's got a little citrus vibes to it. Still, it got a little bit of like sweet red fruit. Now, I will say the ethanol on this one kind of is all the way through, which that part's a little bit weird, but this one is, I mean, it's just a sweet caramel vibes. I would say this one might be a little bit smoother, but it doesn't have a lot, not as much going on. I'm going to go 1. Whatever 1 is, I'm going 1. I just felt like it felt more enticing at first, and then it gave you a little bit of here and there with it as you were kind of sipping it. I enjoyed the nose better on 2, but 1 I would go back to. I mean, I go back to both, don't get me wrong, but I would go back to 1 again tonight because that was a fantastic pour. No Floor says, I rarely pay over $100 anymore, unless the bottle is extra special like Jack 12 or Russell's 13, etc. And I've been trying not to, but I almost feel like every time I go to the liquor store now, every bottle I want is above $100. And I'm not being super picky. It just feels like that, you know? And that part kind of sucks. Again, that's why people keep asking me like, oh, I keep seeing you buy bottles above $100. Is that what I should be doing? I don't think anybody should do what they can't afford. For one, But I also think there is some fantastic bottles out there that get kind of overlooked at times because it's not a big name or it doesn't get as much love anymore. I remember Larceny used to be like the talk of the town at one point, and I don't hear anybody talking about it anymore. Another reason why I pulled it up. But it's also between 50 and $60 versus 160, you know? And for it to be this close, regardless of what it is, I think this one of the two isn't hitting the value marks. Either this is way above or this one's way below. However way you want to take that. Let me get the winner real quick for this one. Number one is Larceny. So Larceny actually won. So Larceny's swinging above its pay grade or right on the money, however you want to look at it. So Larceny actually beat the Little Book out in the blind. To be honest, I would think that the Little Book should have won, like from like my style of like what I would personally like. I don't remember Larceny being like anything super fantastic-esque, but I haven't had this one in a long time. As you can tell, like I haven't really touched the bottle. Again, it's just like me. I overlook some of the bottles because you forget about them, right? But that number one pour was inviting, tasty. I just spilt my water. No, I didn't. I put the lid on today. Look at me. I'm out here being proactive. Andrew in the chat says, "What's up, ball? Dope bar setup. Appreciate it." Yeah, I dabble. Sometimes I like whiskey. All right, let's move on to the next one. Now, the next one is going to be the Russell's Reserve. Now, I ran out of Glens, granted. And I told her this is probably the one you can go ahead and just put in rocks glasses. It was not that big of a deal, right? Not the end of the world for me. But it's also the one I probably like the most, but because I love Russell's Reserve, right? But this is going to be the Russell's Reserve Woodford's Double Oak versus the Double Oak. Now, this one was a big thing, right? I blinded before. I blinded twice, and the Double Oaks won both. Again, not by miles, but it definitely had the edge. I switched that. Yeah, it was like that. See, I told you. I almost got it. I almost had it. But the price difference on these are drastic. This one's like $50, $55, depending on where you go. I know some people have to pay more. And this one was anywhere from $175 to $200. I know I see it a lot right now for $200. I did pay $175. We got it early at Costco. Costco had the homie hookup, I guess. But they're both fantastic in my opinion. But the word from most people is the Woodford's Double Oak is not worth the Woodford's Double, is not worth the price because you can compare it, right? And, over the year or so that I've had it, I've slowly became part of that group going like, it is good. Part of me had that nostalgic feeling of like really wanting to get that bottle and not getting it for years. And now finally having it, that I kind of slowly like go, yeah, it's probably not worth the price. 175 versus 55, the difference is probably a closer gap. But anyway, let's blind it up. Get a little bit more. Christian says, Little Book is almost double the price of Larceny. It's more than double. It's literally $100 more. North Florida says, Larceny Barrel Proof, one of my favorites this year. Don't sleep on it. I was sleeping on it. I'm not lying. It's been on my shelf. It's sitting over there. I gave away a lot of whiskey so I can see it better, though. And that's how I was like, I have Larceny. I haven't had that in a while. Pulled it over. So, yeah. Let's dive back into this.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Alexa, stop listening. This fucking FBI. I didn't really go in for the nose because it's rocks glasses. Plus, they're almost identical on the nose. That's just from previous, not now, but I can't. Yeah, it's not a Glen. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I get so much different. It's good. Tastes like Woodford's Double Oak. Two is better. Tastes like Woodford's Double Oak. Woodford's Double Oak always has like this little chocolate note on it. It's got like vanilla, caramel, little dash of cinnamon. It has like this sweet chocolate note on it. Number 2's better because it just felt like it was a little bit more prominent in the notes. They're the same exact proof, by the way. They're 90.4 proof. The only difference is this one's aged a little bit longer in an extra oak barrel. But to be honest, I can't even tell the difference right now. Like, they both taste like regular Woodford's Double Oak to me. This also goes to show you, like, the Woodford's Double Double has won the blind both times prior in a Glen. But if you put them like this in a rocks glass, which I never drink them in, I can't tell the difference. I'm going to say this one is going to lose only because it had a little bit more like ethanol on it. Don't know why. And this one, that one didn't. So let's get the winner. MK Rake says, live streaming your addiction does not make it less of a drunkard? Drunkard? That's not the word. You mean drunktard? Or an alcoholic? Something like that. Doesn't make me less of it. Definitely not. You got me. Oh no. A little brown buttery sugar note. You know, I get brown sugar. I don't necessarily get buttery. But when I drink Woodford's, my mind's so focused on that chocolate note that I almost can't look past a lot of the other stuff. It's weird, but... So this one is Woodford's Double Oak, regular Double Oak, not the Double Double. Yeah, this one's Woodford's Double. So this one didn't even win. What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, guys. So there you have it. From somebody that loves Woodford and Woodford's Double Double. Just buy the regular double, because this one didn't even win in the blind. It won the past 2 times, granted. Now both bottles are a little bit older. That one has a little bit less, but Woodford's Double won that one. The regular Double Double here didn't win, and it had a little bit extra ethanol on it. That was the losing factor then. It wasn't because it was light years better or anything like that. It was just had a little bit of ethanol on it, and I go, this one doesn't. Let's go with that one, because they tasted almost identical. So they're both good, both up my alley. I'll drink both again, but one $55, $60 to versus, you know, $200 basically. Buy the regular Double Oak. Why bother? If you don't have it and you got extra money, cool bottle to have, granted. But I also like these little bottles better. I was pissed when they came up with 700 milliliters, but this one's the Chocolate Whisper Redux. They feel a little bit more special, you know. I let Woodford's go back to putting the Double Oak in that. I felt like they had a little bit more love then. Woodford's has never been worth the hype for me. I think Old Forester is better. I don't know. Woodford's has like a little soft spot to me. Like, it's one of the whiskeys that I first got into whiskey with. I really liked it. I liked the chocolate note it had. There's some Old Forester that I would say is better than regular Woodford's for sure. But the Double Double's worth it. He says, is Widow Jane worth it? It depends, because Widow Jane's a little bit expensive. So you gotta like they got some Dickel in it. So it's got a little bit mineral vibes to it, but it's not bad. I don't own Widow Jane, so if that tells you anything. Window Jane. I'm dyslexic, bro. You don't gotta fix your spelling on me. I'll never know. Anyway, let's move off of the Woodfords. That was just because, like, I felt like we had to, you know. That was the exact same bottle, just different price points. So we had to throw it in there. So far, we're actually 2 budget bottles against the 1 expensive bottle. If you're keeping tallies, the Old Forester 1924 beat 1910. Granted, $100 difference there, almost $100 difference there. Larceny beat the Little Book Chapter 9. $100 exactly difference there. And then the Woodford's Double beat the Double Double. Now, we're going to move into probably what most people would rather see. Not that it's going to be, you know, a riveting difference here, but it's going to be Russell's Reserve. What the heck? Oh, I was like, what the heck is this? I just put these Glens down. All right, let me put these over. So we have Russell's 15 versus Russell's 10. Let me pull these over before I mix myself up. Place them right. Place them right. So everybody knows my thoughts on Russell's 15, one of my favorite lineups. Russell's 10 is a great budget style bottle, 10-year age, 90 proof. It's great. It's cheap. I always find them on sale. But the Russell's 15 is really like one of those bottles that stops and makes you go, oh shit, you know? So to me, putting up against each other, I know who should win by landslide, but I'm also curious to know, will it really be a landslide, right? Because you're talking, I had to write this one down. What was it? Russ's 15 right now is around $45. The last time I bought that for 30. So I don't know what MSRP is on it. It's always on sale here. But MSRP is around 45. This one is around 200, right? So about $150 difference. That's drastic. Can they really be $150 apart taste-wise? Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? I guess we're just going to figure it out as we kind of sip along. But Bourbon Therapy says, woo woo, guess who's back?
Guess who's back? Back again.
Welcome back, baby. Happy Friday. Glad to have you. Welcome to the stream. If you haven't already, boys, drop a like on the stream. Subscribe if you are new for some reason. But let's dive into this one. Andrew says, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked. I'll be flabbergasted would be the better phrase. So, because I hope the Russ 10 wins. And the reason why I hope it wins is because if it beats the Russell's 15, I'm going to buy so many Russell's 10. But Russell's 15 right now is like one of my favorite pours. I don't see it losing. But you never know, you know what I mean? You never know. All right, let's dive in. You know what it smells like? It smells like Russell's Reserve. I got you there, didn't I? Whew. Yeah, you could tell. You could tell by the nose. I'm not trying to guess. I just want to know how close are they, you know? That one's good too. This one's good too. Sweet caramel vibes, a little spice on the back end. Not much though, right? Just a little kicker there. We'll save the negative parts for here in a second. Let me make sure I know which one I'm drinking. You know what I mean? Like, come on. It's just fantastic. This is clearly the Russell's 15. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't not even remotely close. Like, this is good. Don't get me wrong. That's good. I'm glad I started with that pour, but there's so much to this one. Now, technically, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just psyching myself out here, but this got everything like vanilla, caramel, really nice red fruit, very sweet candy-esque vibes to it. A little bit of peppery finish on the back end. It's nice and viscous, where this one is a little bit thinner and it doesn't have as much going on. And the real reason why I know what it is like the proof on that's fantastic. It's probably, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it's like 115 feeling, 120 feeling. It's got a nice long finish, where this one didn't have much of any finish. Let's get the results. But granted, I do think like that's what I will say is like I enjoy this one a lot. Before I even look at it, before we even look at it, I enjoy this one a lot, right? But at the same time, this one's still good, right? This one's just really good. But I think this is a solid pour. Like, regardless, like if you don't have $200, like don't stress it. Go get you a Russell's 10 because that one's still fantastic. Like you don't have to have the 15. Now this is the 2024 Russell's 15. It's 117.2 proof. That was close. I said 115 and 120. So let's say I was spot on. So yeah, 2. 2 is Russell's 15. Shocker. I'm just as shocked as you are. It's good. I mean, that's good too, but this is. It's not as fair as comparison because of the proof. Because I feel like if they came out of the Russell's 10, like 115 proof, do much better. It would help with it being a little bit thinner. I don't know if it would bring out some extra complexities, but I do think it would help with being a little bit more on the spicier edge, which this has the best of both. This is sweet and spicy with a little bit of oak, but a lot of candy vibes, which is really nice. Andrew says it's kind of hoping to be a bit, would have been closer, but what do you do? It's hard to say that it was close, right? I think both were great, but I think between the two, like, I love this pour. I love the Russell's 15 pour. Like, it hits every little tingly spot that you want. Where the Russell's 10, like, it's good. And if I didn't have this, I would not be mad at this pour. But you can't tell me you don't want this one, right? And anybody doing a blind saying, oh, that's just this, the price difference. Like, the price difference is probably one of the biggest price differences. I'm still going to choose a Russ 15 is worth the value versus that one's still good value for what it is, but it ain't no, it's not no 200. So, Christian says, you ever think about doing an Advent series? What do you mean, like an Advent calendar? I would have to go live like every day, right? If I did that, and I have not had time to save my life. I'd love to do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I just came. I don't want to give you guys excuses. I'm just gonna say, if I could, I would. Just don't think I can. I'm a little too late, right? Like, it's like December 5th. Bourbon Lover says, hopefully everyone is doing well. I'm doing okay. We're having a good time. This will be interesting. Unicorn versus Shelfer, if it's close. You know, again, I'm going to wrap that one up by saying the Unicorn's well worth it. It's hard to beat that kind of bottle. But I think the Russell's 10 is still a great bottle. I didn't drink it afterwards, like after drinking Russell's 15, saying the Russell's 10, ooh, you can't go back to that. So I definitely think it was worth drinking both, but the Russell's 15 is just magical. You know what I mean? So let's go into this last one here. Where is it? There you go. Sazerac Rye. I would have, oh, wait. Christian says you could pre-record them in batches. You would have to go for it in 2026. So I have a lot of stuff I have planned for 2026. I don't like to talk about it because I've talked about it before, and then we had the kid and threw me off track. I actually had quite a bit of stuff filmed for Christmas, but I filmed it back like 3-4 months ago. I can't get it into the hard drive. So I have a hard drive that's been like corrupted. And it has a lot of footage on there. It has like a bourbon hunt and stuff on there. I don't want to get too pissy about it, but I can't get in it. So I filmed like 6 or 7 videos. That's why the video stopped. I was pumping them out like 2 a day. You know what I mean? And I backed them all up onto there for safekeepings. You know, my computer's a little bogged down. And then I can't get them again. I can't get it to get put back on my computer. So I'm just a little salty about it. I don't want to refilm them because it's not authentic then. IROC says, Widow Jane is not worth it, in my opinion, but that's me. You might like it, though. IROC lives, eats, sleeps, and breathes OGD 114. So, take that for what you will. Foolproof Hunter says, cheers, all. Cheers, buddy. Welcome to the stream. All right, let's move into this last one. So, bottle-wise, so it's Sazerac Rye, but it's not just the regular Sazerac Rye. I wanted something that had a close proof point to it. So, you have the new Sazerac Rye Foolproof 125, and then it's going to go up against the Heaven Hill Grain to Glass coming in at 123.2 proof. I think both of them are going to be different. I've not had the Heaven Hill Grain to Glass that I remember at least in a while. I've drank the shit out of this bottle. Didn't we have this like 2 weeks ago? I've been hammering through my ryes. I feel like I drink more rye off stream, and I just drink whiskey gingers and a couple extra pours of just ryes lately. I've been on a little rye kick, I guess, because my Jack's been dinged up too. We're about down to half again, and you guys know about me in that bottle. So, North Florida says I tried the Russell's Reserve 13 a couple times this year. Solid pour, not worth overpaying for it. I don't know, because I only paid like $40-50, remember? So That lady messed up. That's not on me. I think the 13 is great. I don't think the 13 is as good as the 15 for sure. But I also think the 13 is completely different profile. Like the 13 is more dessert, sweet chocolate, got a little bit of that kind of vibe going on. Is it worth like 150 or I can't remember what the actual price is. Probably not, but I bet you that one would put up a fairer fight. Like, which one would you prefer? Because even the Russell's 10, like, it has some sweet notes, but it also has some like bright notes in there. I guess the question is just, what do you prefer? Full Printer says, like the Widow Jane Decadence, but that is it. I don't know if I've had the Decadence. I've had Widow Jane 10, and I liked it. It just wasn't like, it didn't blow my socks off. IROC says, I do like a lot of Heaven Hill products. I heard you talking larceny earlier, and it is great pour and very overlooked. My buddy works at Heaven Hill, so I get to try a lot of their products. Bro, I thought fucking larceny was Jim Beam earlier, so what do I know? But larceny did beat the Little Book in the blind. We'll recap it here in a minute. Now, these two are both put in rocks glasses as well because I ran out of Glens, and that just is what it is. So we have two. One's going to be Saz. One's going to be Heaven Hill grain to glass. If I had to put my guess in, Heaven Hill should be the more complex rye, and I think Sazerac is going to be the sweeter rye, but I haven't had Heaven Hill in a while. Now, let me go over price real quick, too, because that's a big difference. Sazerac rye full proof is 45-ish bucks. Give or take where you're at. I get it. It's new. It's going to be hard to find. Some people are going to sell it secondary. It just is what it is. I paid 45 though. Grain to glass is around 100, and I believe I paid more than that. I believe I paid like 125, 130 at Total Wine. I don't remember, but I know now the newer batches are selling right around 100. But this is a 2024, 2024 release. So let's dive in. If you're new, drop a like, subscribe. If you're not, welcome back, baby. All right, let's dive in. That one has some heat to it. I should have expected that. I was just drinking 117. I guess this is more. That one's sweeter. Still has a nice little fresh mint note on it. Still has a little caramel vibe too, almost like a little bourbon-esque. Peppery. The finish a little bit weaker though. So let's dive into this one. Cheers. IROC says, depends on what Little Book you have, bro. Some aren't the best. I love Jim Beam stuff, but the Bookers and Little Books can throw you off some. I have a Little Book Chapter 9, None for Granted. I do believe from stuff that I've heard from a lot of people, people hype up Little Book. And I feel like I have the one that like nobody cares about. But I also hear mine's the one that's just very much kind of what I said, basic bourbon notes, vanilla caramel vibes, not a lot of complexity. It's good. It's just not like blow your socks off good like apparently the other ones are. So maybe I just found that and maybe I got it because, you know what I mean? Because maybe it sucked. I don't know. I think it's great. I still think it's a great bottle, but not 160 great. Scott in the chat says, cheers, call me old fashioned. Scott, welcome back, baby. Happy Friday. Bourbon Therapy says Saz 125, super good. Bro, 2 weeks. 2 weeks I'm hammering through it. It's a great bottle. I'm upset I didn't buy two. That is on me. I should have bought two. This is a great price. Ooh. You know, like before you even dive into like tasting notes, when you sip something and it just feels right. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, I'm home. That's how this one felt. This one, you took a little sip, and it just kind of like, it was like that first sip of soup in like winter. You're sitting on the porch, and you got a hot chocolate, you take that first sip. That's what it felt like. I'm just saying. I'm not even going through tasting notes. I'm just giving you vibes. That was a good vibe. It's got a little mint vibes. It's definitely sweet. Got a nice little herby, like earthy vibes to it. But the proof is spot on. It's in that 120s-ish range, which both of these are. This one didn't drink like 120. I would say, to be honest, it was a little bit less. It felt like 115-esque. This one, I'll go back another sip. I'm almost certain this one's a winner. This one's good. It is sweeter. This one's sweeter. It's almost like, it almost has like a synthetic. Bro, I'm fucking tripping here. It has like sugar. It has a sugar vibe to it. That one. Number one is on the board. Number 2, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad. It wasn't bad. I would say, like, this is good. This is really good. Is it drastically better? I'm not going to say miles better, but I'm going to say there's a good little, like, you wouldn't mind starting off with that, but you'd love to finish that. You know what I mean? There's that kind of gap. Let's get the winner. Let's get the winner on here. One is the Sazerac Rye. So Saz beat Heaven Hill. What is that? 2 to 5, or 3? 3 budget bottles, 1 versus 2 expensive bottles. That's not exactly how I thought it was going to go, but I'm not mad at it. So again, another $100 to $120 bottle versus $45 bottle. The $45 bottle is definitely better, at least to me. Right now, you guys, everybody has their own palate. Maybe you like certain notes better. I like this one because I felt like it had more pepper, it had a little cinnamon, like it felt more rye-esque, right? It was like what you want in a rye, like spicy, refreshing mint with a decently long finish. This one like had some rye stuff going on too, right? Had a little bit of mint, but it was very sweet. It almost felt like sugar was in there. So the Heaven Hill pairing with the sugar, I thought the Saz was gonna be sweeter. Jerry in the chat says, hey, y'all, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Jerry, what's going on, baby? Happy Friday. But yeah, so let's recap, right? So we started off with Old Forester 1910 versus 1924. Again, we're talking $55 bottle versus 100 to 110-ish bottle. Old Forester 1924 did win. I would say that one was probably like the closest battle here, because it really came down to preference. 1910 had a little harshness on the finish versus where 1910 leaned a little bit sweeter, a little bit smoother. So I just went with 1924. Second round was a Little Book, Chapter 9, None for Granted, versus Larceny Barrel Proof. It was A124. We're talking $50 to $60 bottle versus a $160 bottle. Larceny Barrel Proof won. It felt better. You went in for the sip. It felt right. Where the other one, they both were great, but honestly, the Larceny had way more complexity to it, a little bit better vibes to it. Where the other one was good, it just kind of was muted, right? It just nothing stood out. So definitely an upset there. So a little budget bottle for the win. So we were 50-50. We tied, right? So then we went into, I don't know what we went into next, but went into the Woodford's double oak versus double oak. Now, granted, if you would have told me before the stream, I would have said double won. Not by a lot, but usually that one's won. That's beat regular Woodford's double oak in a blind 2 other times. So I just anticipated that. But actually, Woodford's double oak did win, and it was mainly because they tasted almost identical, right? Same exact proof, same exact flavor notes. The difference was Woodford's double actually had a little bit more ethanol on the finish compared to the Woodford's double oak. I don't remember that from blinds past, but that's what happened. So budget bottles went up 2-1 in that scenario, and then we ran it up with the Russell's Reserve 10-year versus 15-year. Wasn't even close, right? You'd like to say both were great. Russell's 15 is just that bottle. You know what I mean? Like, that's the bottle you go actually hunt, because it's fantastic. The Russell's 10 is great, though. It's a really great budget bottle. It's also the biggest price difference for a $150 difference between the bottles. But I'm taking the Russell's 15 all day, every day for that. I'll also I need another Russell's 10, though, because I really like Russell's 10. And then we finished it off with this one right here, the Heaven Hill Grain Glass Rye 2024 versus the brand new Sazerac Rye Full Proof 125. Again, another one that you could say is somewhat close until it wasn't. The Sazerac Rye kind of pulled away with its more traditional style rye notes, where the Heaven Hill leaned a little bit more sugary, sweeter, and that's just not what I want in my ryes. So we went Saz 1, which ends up being 2 expensive bottles versus versus 3 budget bottle winners. So take that for what you will. It's kind of a toss-up. It's whatever you feel like is better, but don't ever feel like the budget bottles can't win, or the budget bottles aren't necessarily better. It comes down to preference. It comes down to what you like and what your budget actually is. You can't really say, going back to the beginning, is it worth to buy these bottles? Sometimes, but not every time, and nobody ever really knows. And what I think might be worth it may not be worth it to you versus the same thing opposite. So, just stick within your budget, buy what you want, right? Don't let dollar signs or hype kind of drive you, except for Russell's 15. Buy the shit out of that and then give me like an extra one, because you know what I mean? I want another one. So let's check up the chat. Scott says, I just picked up the Saz Full Proof yesterday. Genuinely surprised. I like it. Pretty good pickup for 45. I think it's fantastic pickup for 45 bucks. Highly impressed with it. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is. And the reason being is because the 100 proof is only like $10 or $5 less. And then the 90 proof isn't that far off from either one of those. So I was expecting it to be just like a highly ethanol version of everything. And it wasn't. It's fantastic. And I've pounded that bottle all through Thanksgiving all the way up to now. So that's probably what I'll drink when I get off here. I've been drinking that one because I don't want to drink my Jack Daniel's single barrel proof and have to go on my 4th bottle of the year of this thing before New Year's. So I keep buying it because there's no way I don't have this for my New Year's stream, right? But I've been doing work, been putting in some hours on this bottle. No, I just really like that Jack bottle. But Caterpillar Gang says, just cracked a Fireball Blazing Apple that I got for MSRP. Bro, you got to show us where your connect is. Bourbon Therapy, he says, did you ever find any Woodford's Reserve barrel proof like I was telling you? I did not find one, but I have seen posts. So a lot of the places around here have been posting saying, hey, our barrel's coming. Look what we got. It's Woodford's Double Oak. And they're not announcing it like how I would. Be like, it's higher fucking proof, boys. Get over here. But I have seen, now granted, I haven't seen anything like drastically different of like what I would want. But beggars can't be choosers. I understand I asked for it and they're delivering. But I've seen like Woodford's Double Oak regularly is 90.4 proof. I've seen some at 94 point something. I've seen it at 96 point something. Can I get like 99 point something or maybe even like 100 something, right? That's what I've been looking for. I think I'm being a little bit more picky now because they delivered on what they said, but I haven't seen them in store either. If I find one in store, 100%, I'm not going to pass that up. That's like one that I like, for me of all people, I have to buy that. Woodford's, again, is one of the bottles that got me into it. I love that bottle. As you guys can tell, even the one I had up here, it's what we got. We got like a pour left in this now. You know what I mean? Like there's just not much left of this. Now, to be honest, blinding those two together, they were so close. I probably wouldn't buy another one immediately of the regular one. I'd probably finish off that double first. But if I find the quote unquote barrel proof one, I would buy that 100%. I'm not telling you guys to do that. That's a me thing. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not hyping the bottle up. I'm just saying I think it's gonna be good. Did a comparison of Thomas Handy and Saz Full Proof, and obviously the Handy was greater complexity, but profile is so similar. Okay. I wonder what the Saz 18 versus the Full Proof would be, right? Because that's really going to be a test of what's better, age or proof. You know what I mean? I feel like maybe I'm being biased here because I like the bottle I have for 45 bucks, but I feel like a lot of people would lean a little bit more towards the proof, at least more than you'd think, right? Not everybody's going to pick the proof. Maybe they go towards the Saz 18, but you know what I mean? I think more people than you'd expect would lean to that bottle if it was in a blind. North Florida says the wife is in a spicy mood tonight. Thank you, whiskey. North Florida's leaving the chat, boys. He's about to go make baby number 17. I'm kidding. I don't know how many kids he has. Thank you, whiskey. That's great. Love that. Anyway, boys, let me know what you're sipping on tonight. If you're in the chat, let me know. I need some water. Little palate cleanser. And then I need to know what. So, for anybody watching this after the fact, we are now done with the blind. You can have your consensus of what's better. Again, you don't have to take my word for that kind of stuff. Do your own research, try your own whiskey. Don't spend without your budget. But other than that, we're going to move into our little hangout part of the stream. Again, I don't imagine we're going to hang out super long. I may end up switching the format eventually, but for now, let's hang out. I got my wife's pink water cup. It's hot in here. I think I turned the AC up too high. You know what I want to go back to? Out of all those bottles, besides the Rust 15, granted, I could go back to that all day, every day. But the Larceny Barrel Proof, when I took a sip of it, I was like, oh, hold up. Wait a minute. Let me try this. Highly impressed me from what I remember. I have never done this one in a blind either. I've drank it, granted, a couple times, but not as much as I should, I take it. Now, I don't know how many of you boys are local. If you're local, let me know. Apparently, there's some boys hanging outside of Total Wine tonight. Apparently, word on the street is they had 4 King of Kentuckys, and these boys were in line at like 5 o'clock, I think. 4 of them, waiting for those bottles. I can't remember his name, so my bad if you're watching. I can't remember your name. Definitely let me know if you're watching. But he called in. He called in with North Florida, but he's in line at Total Wine. Shelton called me. FaceTimed it. Buddy was first in line. Crazy. I was like, that's who you need to go. You need to go, like, raid his house. He has everything. But Jerry says, can't taste tonight due to having a head cold. I'm having Benchmark Full Proof. You know, honestly, I think that's a good move, right? If your taste, I mean, a head cold and drinking is not the best. Granted, I'm not trying to hype that up. Yeah, it was Jester. That's who it is, North Florida. Bro, I was drawing a blank, bro. Like, he's like, hey, you know who I am on the FaceTime? I couldn't remember. Like, I knew who he was. I couldn't remember his name. That's what I meant. Jeff. My name's Jeff. No, but Benchmark Full Proof's a good move on that. I went ADHD on you boys for a second. That's my bad. Benchmark Full Proof is a solid pour. Great price, right? Good budget bottle, and especially if you can't taste that well. You know, I mean, that thing gets the job done, and you ain't hurting the bank either. Now, granted, what I recommend for a head cold, and I know this stuff, first thing you want to do, you want to chug a bottle of water. Then you want to follow it up with an emergency packet. You know what I'm talking about? Little vitamin C things. Put that in a bottle of water, chug that. Then you want to take orange juice, hook it up to an IV. Just kidding, don't do that. But I do drink orange juice afterwards. I know it's more vitamin C. It is what it is. It's what I take. I cure myself on vitamin C alone when I get colds and stuff like that. Jerry says, yeah, they're dropping at all the Total Wines in Florida. Dang. I didn't get the memo. I wouldn't have went and got in line that early either. So, I mean, it's not like it really matters, but it would have been nice to have been informed, you know? A little email saying, hey, swing on by. Total Wine. Whatever. North Florida says, I met him in line at a camp out, and he's been a solid bourbon buddy since. Been to the house a couple times. We shared many pours. Yeah, I know. You guys called in the one time. That was cool. That's where I recognized him from. But yeah, Shelton FaceTimed me, and he was like, hey, this guy's getting King in Kentucky tomorrow, apparently. And I was like, he's my new best friend. So, no, it's cool. It's just fun to see where bourbon takes people, you know? Some people take some outside of Total Wine 24 hours before they open again. Some people it takes them to YouTube, you know? It's just it's a really cool / weird community. You know what I mean? So happy to be a part of it. This bottle's fucking good, bro. Who has this? Who hasn't had this? Let's do that. If you've had it, say I have it. If you haven't had it, say never tried it. Just want to know like what the ratio. I should do a poll. You know what I mean? Should I do a poll? I'm doing a poll anyway because I want to. How about that? How about that, boys? It's gonna take me a second. I didn't have the poll thing up, but we're gonna do another poll. Where is it? There it is. Which one is this? A124? I guess I shouldn't really put that. Let's just put regular larceny. There we go. I like polls. You know what I mean? It's easy to read. Some people don't comment. You know what I mean? Like, I have people that watch this stuff all the time. I have no idea who they are. It is what it is. I'm not saying you have to comment, but, you know, I like to know who's watching. And that's okay if you don't. But I can't tell who comments or clicks a button on the poll. So y'all go ahead and vote it up. But I just want to know, like, who's tried larceny? I put larceny, but I meant larceny barrel proof. Larceny barrel proof. Because that matters. But this fucking thing, good. Does it have like a barrel or anything on here? No. No, it just says barrel proof A124. Does it have a year? It's not have a shit on here. It does say old fits. So that's where I fucked up. I don't know why I thought that either. I thought old fits was part of Jim Beam too a little bit, but that's Heaven Hill. Let's do this. Not that these two are the same by any means, but I also Jerry's comment also got a double meaning there. I thought that was a good joke too. I just now thought of it. See, that's good. It's hard to compare the two because that's like drastically. This has way more to it. The larceny does. The proof is just, it's got more going on. That's another thing to think about too, right? Like, which one do you like better? You like larceny or you like the old Fitz bottled and bond 7 year? The proof plays a big factor, but I would say the old Fitz is a little softer, where the larceny's got a little bit more like grit to it. But to be honest, I think the larceny probably takes that win. It's just, I mean, it's 26 proof points ahead of it. You know what I mean? I like proof. Christian said, have you tried the Rebel Small Batch Reserve? It's 115 proof, Heaven Hill weeded bourbon. Rumored it is the barrels are the same as old Fitz. I've not had Rebel Small Batch, but I have had the Rebel, I don't know which one it is, to be honest. I know it's the Kyle Busch version, little Kyle Busch Rebel. I didn't like it. And the reason why I didn't like it, it was super thin. It was almost like, don't let me shit on it, because I didn't buy a bottle. I didn't sit down and really review it, but I tasted it from the guy in the store, gave him the samples. And my first thought when I drank the Kyle Busch Rebel was it was like flavored rubbing alcohol. And the reason being, it was super thin. It was not super high proof, but it burned like a motherfucker. Like it was very ethanol-esque, with little hints of like sweetness, right? But did not have a lot going on from what I remember. And now I didn't sit down with a glass Glen. I didn't like sit there and go through it. But I would say personally, I probably won't dabble back into the Rebel because of that. Unless I get to try it from somebody for free. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always down to try free whiskey. But the Rebel, I don't know which one it is. Let's just fucking look it up. Because I feel like I'm like talking half answers here. Okay, here we go. Let's see. All right, so it was a Rebel single barrel. Yeah, Rebel Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, single barrel selected by Kyle Busch. So Kyle Busch don't know how to select whiskey worth a shit. I can say that. Now, if he invites me to a race, I will forgive him. But if he doesn't, then he selects whiskey like a girl. A girl that doesn't know whiskey. Some girls know whiskey too, so don't let me... You ain't canceling me today, boys. Now, granted, it was only like 35 bucks. Right, you can buy it online right now for about 35 to 40 bucks, depending on which website you want to go to. But it's a 4-year-old. Apparently, it says driven by sweet red fruit caramels that will be dominated through the sip. I didn't taste red fruit or any of that. I got ethanol and I got sweet. So I didn't even get to the what sweet part. Nor Fleur says, I've only tried the store picks. I was not super impressed by Rebel. I hear some people like Rebel. That's why I was so excited when I saw the Kyle Busch thing. I go, that's fucking cool. I know who that is. I don't NASCAR, but I could dabble in NASCAR for Kyle Busch. You know what I mean? A little sponsorship, a little call me old-fashioned NASCAR, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not going to drive it. Apparently, I don't know how to drive. I'd just be wrecking shit. But, yeah, very disappointing with that bottle. I didn't buy it. So, if somebody has Rebel that they're just super in love with, let me know. I'll swing by. We'll take a little sippy sip. You should try the small batch reserve. It's only 32 bucks. Really enjoyed it. But if I just tried a single barrel of the same thing, well, how would I want to do that? I'm trying to see if it... So the Rebel I had doesn't say small batch. It just says single barrel. So, you know what I mean? Now, Christian, what I will say is I probably won't buy it. But if I go somewhere and I see a pour of it for $8 or something like that, I'll buy the pour. I'll report back. I'll let the boys know. But don't be mad if I say, hey, I fucking don't like it, because I probably won't. And the reason why I say this is because that Rebel really loved. When I left, it was the last thing I drank before I left the store, and I was disappointed. Because I was just man, I had high hopes on it. I was about to buy it without trying it. They're like, you want to try it first? I go, no. They go, come on. I'm getting paid to do this. Let me give you free whiskey. I go, well, it's free. And I felt bad, too, because she was like, oh, kind of I'm helping get a sale. As soon as I tried to go, I'm not buying this. And she was like, what? And I was like, I don't like it. And I was like, that's thin as hell. I was like, what? How long age is that? 15 minutes? It was not good. It was just not good. So, I know. Norfolk says Haystack Needle store pick release to come in. Oh, wait. Haystack Needle store pick release coming here in town at Good Pour. Gonna be picking that one up. Right now, I don't know, Redwood Empire be sending me emails just trying to take my money at weird times. Where is it? I got it earlier today. I don't know where it is. Haystack Needle's live on their website for single barrels. They're only going to have a small batch. Oh, here it is. Haystack Needle Straight Bourbon Whiskey, barrel 2158, online exclusive, now shipping. 117.2 proof, 8 years, 7 months. Mash bills, 72% corn, 18% rye, 5% wheat, and 5% malted barley. The yield is 186 bottles. And then it says, hey, buy it. I bet you it's sold out now. Christian says, can I get your number, baby? Yeah, you can have my number. Or you can message me in Discord. Hey, in a minute, boys, I'm going to go over the fantasy stuff real quick. Fantasy football, because I know you guys love that. Yeah, it's out of stock already. When I first got the email, I knew I had 5 minutes to buy it, because that's what happened last time. I didn't buy it, and it sold out. The Haystack Needle already sold out online. That's why I didn't drop it into Discord and stuff like that. But anyways, for anybody that's watching who's not been around the channel long, we'll say, we do a fantasy football league here every year. So if you're not in it this year, you have a chance next year, because I think some people won't show their faces next year. You know what I mean? Now, one of those people could be me. You never know. But your boy's in second place this year. We're cruising. Now, granted, the wife's in first place. Again, not looking good for us. If she wins again, boys, she's creating her own Discord so she could talk shit. I just don't want to hear it. But let's run through the let's run through the rankings, and then we'll run through the matchups real quick. So rankings, number 1 in the league, who's basically locked in the first seed, is going to be Miss Call Me Old Fashioned. She's 10-3. Also leading us all in fantasy points by more than 100. You know what I mean? Now, your boys got second place. I came from the bottom. I was on the bottom for a while. Made a couple trades, waiver wire pickups. Like, I was working. Finally, I got second right now. Now, I have to win to get second. I'm playing We Taking ACLs this week, which is IROC Sun. So, like, hopefully we win. Third place is Brown Water Chuggers, which is IROC in the chat. So, let's say congrats to him. I was giving shit at the end of the year. He's 8-5 as well. This is probably the closest year I've seen the fantasy league. Number 4 right now, G Money Makers, 8-5 as well. Again, depending on how these 2 through 4 pans out, any one of us can get second seed, which first and second seeds get buys. Then 5th place right now is Smoking Bourbon Blitz, which is AKA Mr. North Florida. He's hanging on by his teeth right now. Number 6th place, which is the last place right now in the playoffs. This is last week, by the way. Playoffs are next week. Is going to be We Taking ACLs with 6-7 record. Number 7 with a 6-2 record, only short by like 40 fantasy points. That's what it's going based off of. Out of the playoffs, Ride the Lightning. And then you have 8th place, which is Hold My Vic, 5-8. 9th place, 4-9, Whiskey Mafia. Buddy was talking mad shit during the year. I can't wait till tomorrow, or till the end of the week. I'm gonna be talking shit to him for fun. 10th place, OnlyFins, 3-10. Not good year for him. He's not getting off the bottom. This just is what it is. Because even if he wins and Whiskey Mafia loses, like, he's still gonna lose in fantasy points. So he just locked in the last place. Now, matchups this week. You have Miss Call Me Old Fashioned versus G Money Makers. That's a big game. You got me versus We Taking ACL. Another big game, because if We Taking ACLs doesn't win, it allows Ride the Lightning to take off. Well, it allows him to get in. You got Brown Waters versus OnlyFins, which right now OnlyFins is projected to win. You never know. IROC was on top. Brown Water Chuggers was on top for most of the year. He's been kind of like fading back. But that doesn't, like I always say, as long as you make it to the dance, it's all that matters. As long as you make it to the playoffs, everything else doesn't matter. Smoking Bourbon Blitz, I think you locked in, right? No, you didn't. You didn't lock in. Technically, there's a way for you to not make it, but you should be 5th or 6th. And the reason why is everybody below you has less points. So even if you lose, unless you just have a really bad game, or somebody else, 2 other people have really good games, points-wise, then you're going to make it regardless. It's really between We Taking ACLs and Ride the Lightning. And then it's really between me, Brown Waters, and G Money to see who's getting the second seed. McCaffrey on a bye this week? What the hell? Oh, you done for, my guy. You done for. What's funny is me and North Florida has basically the same team, but in my other league. In my other league, I'm 2nd place. I'm 3rd place right now. No, I'm sorry. I'm 2nd place right now, but I'm going to fade back because I have McCaffrey on bye. I have like everybody on bye. What's that team look like? Can't remember. Oh, wait. No. Yeah. McMillan on bye, McCaffrey on bye, Dowdle on bye. Kincaid looks hurt. But I have A-Chan, who's rocking. I am Terry McLaurin. You know what I mean? I got some studs, but like it's not. I've been hanging on for dear life in that league. I don't really care. That was a freebie league. The Call Me Old Fashioned league, I take a little serious. I can't let you boys think you got to win on me. You know. Now, granted, just a reminder for anybody that's maybe thinking, "Hey, next year I want in on that." Winner's going to get a championship ring, which is cool. But also the winner is going to get a year subscription to Blind Barrels. Blind Barrels is obviously a subscription service where you can get 4 or 5, I can't remember, whiskey sip. Let's pull that out. I haven't drank those in a while. That was always a fun thing to do, too. So, Blind Barrels. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. I should have been, but they never emailed me back. But it is what it is. But yeah, 4 samples. They send you stuff. There's a little game where you can play. Like you can guess the age and the proof and whether if it's like bourbon, whiskey, what's the main mash bill. There's a rice whiskey in here from JT Melick, right? Didn't know that because I've never had rice whiskey before this. So it was cool. And they focus on like smaller, you know, craft distilleries. They're not going to put BTAC or anything in here, but like they did put Ben Holiday in here, which I thought was good. Ben Holiday Rickhouse Proof. There was a hazmat in here somewhere. I can't remember which one, but Chris says, "Bro, did Russell's 10? Bro, you did Russell's 10 dirty in the thumbnail." I thought the thumbnail was cool. I made that thumbnail forever ago. It wasn't supposed to be for a live. It's supposed to be for a regular video, but you know what I mean. I wanted to do it live too because I also think there's part of a, you know, an honest and authenticity to it, where like you guys can really see my reaction. Because sometimes it's hard to like verbalize some of the stuff, but you can see my face. If I'm like, or I'm like, like you could tell. You know what I mean? I have to cut some of that out during a normal video. So don't worry, it's me. I'm holding it. I had to put a little drastic, like a little cheap, little dirty little thing versus the expensive, nice whiskey. You welcome. You clicked on the video. You came to see me. The only thing today was missing was B-roll, but I didn't know I was doing this until the last minute either. But I thought it was a good time. I thought it was a good video. Good live stream, in my opinion. I should have ended it and we should have went live on the other format. I just didn't feel like doing that. But yeah, winner of the fantasy league is going to get this 4 times. And this is fun, especially like if your spouse or if you have a friend that comes over, like it's a good time. Like it's an experience. So if you guys haven't checked out Blind Barrels, definitely recommend it. It's fun, little pricey, right, for what you get. But if you pay for like the year, that's where I think like the longer you pay for, the bigger discount you get, it makes it more worth it. Did I get the Sagamore 10 yet? No, I haven't bought any whiskey, Christian. I've been a good little person. I don't know what you would call me. I am. No, I really haven't bought any whiskey. Last time I went to the store, I got the Sazerac Rye 125 proof. And I held back too. I didn't buy the Russell Reserve batch proof rye, and I hear it's fantastic. I hear it's not worth the price though. I hear the price is a big issue with that, but it has very much like the notes that I want from a rye, which I'm pretty pumped about because I think I'll get it eventually, right? Like maybe tomorrow, who knows? Not tomorrow, but maybe next week. I'm trying to really pace myself. So I was gonna talk about this in a different video, and I will. I won't go too in depth. But I honestly, like, I've been looking at my room, been looking at my selection, and as you guys know from one of the previous live streams, I just did a live stream where I talked about like I'm giving away whiskey and I'm getting rid of a big chunk of my collection. I did like my entire bottom, this whole area right here. You can't see it. I wish I could show you. I have a whole bookshelf right here that's covered in whiskey, right? And the bottom shelf was stuff I didn't really drink, and it was overflowing on the floor. It was kind of just all over the place. And I was like, I'm never going to drink these. Like, I'm never going to choose those over even the shelf above or the shelf above, shelf above, shelf above, or any of this stuff, granted. You just get to a point where you have too much. And I think what I kind of realized is I don't really want a selection that big. Like, it's cool, granted, it's cool to say, like, look what all I have. And it's cool to, like, be able to pick and choose. But what I really find a lot of times, like when I have a lot of people come over, like Thanksgiving, I like 6 people come in this room and be like, I want whiskey. I go, what do you want? And they go, I don't know. And I go, all right, well, I got to run through like 21 questions to even pick something because I'm so indecisive, right? I'm like, do you want bourbon, whiskey, or rye? And they're like, bourbon. I go, great. You want double oak or no? And they go, no. I go, do you want high proof or low proof? And they're like, I don't know. I'm kind of middle. And I go, great. Do you want bottle and bond or not? They go, no. I go, do you want sweet or you want more fruity? Right? And I'm like, there's too many questions for me to nail it down for somebody with the selection that I had. So we gave a bunch away. My brother's been drinking the piss out of it. He really likes the St. Augustine one, and he likes the 1792, which is really cool because I figured he would. You can send me the rest of that Tanger. It will help. You know what, North Florida, for you? No. I'm kidding. If you want a sample, I give you a sample, 100%. But the Tanger 2025, second edition. It's coming out like any fucking minute. Actually, it's like, did it just fuck? I think I didn't set the alarm, did I? It's coming out like now, basically. Or is it the 12th? Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. Cause that one, that I want that one. So they just posted 4 hours ago. Tanger 2025 edition is releasing to the world tomorrow at the distillery. In a few weeks, it'll be hitting liquor stores around the country. Will also be a small online release, which we'll release more info about soon. Now, they did post something. Ooh, that looks cool. They posted a cocktail thing. They said this one's going to be a 6-year, whereas I think the other one's a 5-year. Here it is. Originally, the online release is expected December 12th, but the retail was also the 11th, so distillery release is tomorrow. So everything's still on track. So the 12th is the online one for the Tanger. Let's drink the Tanger now. I love this bottle. This one and Russell's 15 have been just like a hard choice for me to make of like which one I think is going to be the best of the year. Now, granted, you also have to take into effect like, am I talking best pour? Or am I talking best bottle? Because then you got the JD single barrel proof rye that I might be in my 4th bottle by the end of the year. Now, is that because of availability, or is it because I really think that one's better? You never know. You got to tune into the award ceremony on New Year's Eve. Chris says, yeah, it's rare that you get someone who comes over and actually knows enough to break out the good shot. You know, I gave them Woodford's Double Oak. I gave them something decent-ish, right? But you know, I asked a couple of those questions because like I was like, are you about to pour it down the drain? Are you gonna actually drink it? They wanted shots. At first, I was like, hey, do you guys want to try the 13th Colony Double Oak? You know what I mean? You guys want to dabble? You guys want to drink with me? And they're like, let's take shots. And I go, oh, fuck that. You got benchmark bonded, my boy. Like it was just you know, fun and disappointing all at the same time because I you know, you want somebody that understands what we're talking about here, but at the same time, you get it. But I wasn't pulling out Tanger or Russell's 15 for shots. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck that. But I don't know where I was going with all that, but I was on our little tear there for a minute. If you're just now tuning in, drop a like on the stream. Subscribe if you are new. If you want to see like the professional portion of this stream, turn the clock back, go back to the beginning of the stream. It was fun, but now we're doing a little Still Austin Tanger vibes. I want the second version, probably more than I want like a lot of bottles, for 2 reasons. One, I think it will be fantastic. A little bit extra age. I think it's a little bit higher proof, but it also would make me feel more comfortable about drinking this bottle because all the time I go, man, I'd love to drink that, but I don't want to burn through it so quick, right? Like I drink it for more. Like a lot of people will go, oh, I have my special occasion bottle. This is kind of it, but also not, right? This is just like when I get like in a, hey, I just want a really good whiskey. The Russell's, I even feel more comfortable drinking the Russell's 15 because I'm more confident I'll get another 15 before I get another Tanger, you know? But I also think like, man, this would be good with a cigar. I feel like this would be a fantastic bottle with cigar. Put this down here. Chris Ruth in the chat says, I'm more of a whiskey drinker instead of a bourbon drinker, but I've had a few nice bourbons. Nothing wrong with that. It just depends on what you like. What's your favorite whiskey, Chris? Just out of curiosity. I don't know if anybody's ever came in here and said that. Some people will say I'm more of a scotch drinker, but if you're more of a whiskey drinker, what's your whiskey of choice? I swear to God, if you say Travelers, I may lose my mind. But what's your favorite whiskey? Hit me, Chris. Let's chat. He's like, Travelers. What's the other one? Caribou Crossing, Crown Royal. Just sends me off an edge. The, what was I going to say? All right, so the poll, just check in. So it's not 50-50, it's 60-40. 60% of you guys have tried larceny, 40% have not. Let's go ahead and end that poll. 10 votes, a little underwhelming, I guess. But which basically means 6 people have, 4 people have not. I think, you know what I mean? Like, it's a great... We should have took this off a long time ago. Let's do this. There we go. I think the larceny might be a little underlooked. You know what I mean? A lot of people might be skipping over it just because. But I think tonight, like, it kind of like overpowered a couple things. It beat the Little Book. It beat the Old Fit 7 in a sense, like if you consider that fair. But the Chavez 25 was nice. Well, that's got to be Scotch, and you were just trolling me, weren't you? Let's see. $360. Holy shit. And that is splendid Scotch. I'm not spending $350 on Scotch. I'm not a big Scotch guy. I was hoping that's not what you were going to say. I've had Canadian Club too. Oh, 41, 42, and 45. I don't know what those are. That feels too fancy for me. So I wish I was a Scotch guy because I feel like a lot of people are. It's just not my vibe. I typically like things one of two ways. Either really sweet, like I like my bourbon sweet and dessert vibey. Maybe on the occasion, I like the floral, citrus, and like fruity vibes. I like double oaks a lot too, so I like some oak. But on the opposite side, for like rye whiskey, like I like it like just spicy as all can be, right? If it's rye, I want it minty and spice. That's the vibe I want for ryes. I don't even know where to start with that. T. Miller, that's what I'm calling you. Drinking Hemingway rye currently. I've never had that. What do you think of that? Give me like 1 out of 10. 100 proof bottom bond, solid. I mean, the Old Fizz 100 proof bottom bond is fantastic. I don't think that was really that fair up against the larceny, but same distillery, right? But also around the same price. So it just depends on like what your vibe is. If you like proof, then maybe larceny is a vibe. If you like something a little softer, a little middle, kind of like mid-range, then maybe the Old Fitz is. The Old Fitz is fantastic regardless. As for like putting up whiskey or bourbon or rye or whatever up against each other sometimes is a little difficult. Because it's just like MMA or boxing. It's got to have the right weight class. If you're in the wrong weight class, you're not winning by decision. You know what I mean? Like you got to come in and knock them out somehow. And most of the time that doesn't happen. So like larceny coming in at 126 proof, it stood its ground. Christian says there's some good scotches out there. They just get drowned out by the million trash scotches on the shelf. And I get that. That's where like I don't know where to choose. I really don't want to spend my money drowning to trying to find scotches I don't like. That's why every time somebody says whiskey or scotch, I always ask them. I don't go, get out of here, scotch drinker. You go drink your peated scotch. I don't do that. Like I just go, hey, what's your favorite? Because eventually I'm going to buy one. I'm going to buy a bottle and I'm going to be able to say, hey, I got scotch now. And I'm going to try it. And if I like it, then good. If I don't like it, then I'm going to give it away. You know what I mean? Wait for my brother to come back and I'm like, hey, you're going to like this one. So there's a couple. He didn't have enough room for everything. So I didn't give him the Whistle Pig Piggyback Alpha Romeo one that I hate so much. And I didn't give him Caribou. And I didn't give him Travelers. So I kept a couple, and I kept those because like I know I've said I hate those bottles, and I didn't want to give him a bottle I say I hate when he doesn't have a lot of room for it. So I kept them. So I still have the most hated bottles that I own. He wanted the Clydesmates bottle, but I couldn't fit it in the box for him. Scott in the chat says, to be fair, there are quite a few mediocre bourbons. No, 100%, 100%. That's what I mean. Like, if somebody was just a Scotch drinker and was like, hey, I want to get into bourbon, it's definitely a little bit daunting too. Like, you don't know where to start. You can get a fucking shit one. You can go into Total Wine and think the Mr. and Mrs. is a good choice. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things pushing people away. Now, granted, just my opinion, I think you have better odds of landing on a good bourbon than you do a good Scotch. But I also think you have the better, good odds of landing on a good bourbon than you have a good rye. That's just my opinion. Piggyback. North Florida, do you want that? I'll give you this bottle if you want it, buddy. North Florida, this could be yours today by just one drive to St. Augustine. Just saying. One drive to North Florida, and you can have this bottle. I'll give it to you for $10. I'm just kidding. I'll give it to you for free. I'll pay you $10 to take it. How about that? I hate this bottle. But I also am like not a fan of wasting whiskey. I always feel like I'm going to use it for something one day. You know what I mean? You want to drink it? I don't want to drink it, but I'm going to because I just feel like we should. You know, it's not fair to trash talk something as you're. I mean, I just drank Tangerine. You know what I mean? Like, let's give it a little sippy sip. So, just so everybody knows, so they're all caught up and they can watch me struggle through this. So this is Whistle Pig Piggyback Alfa Romeo F1 Team G-Force finished in wind tunnels, tested in Chicago, I think it is. Chicago? Hinwil? I don't know where that is. It's 96.77 proof. It's a single barrel. It's a rye whiskey with lychee and oolong tea barrel finish. From what I remember, it was like unsweetened tea with a mix with a weird fruit and like bourbon or whiskey. And it just didn't hit right. You know what I mean? It just didn't. The G-Force part, it's just gimmicky. It's got a cool label. Like, it's a cool looking bottle. I'll give it that. It's got a little chrome. It's got a little G-Force. It's very much feeling like an F1 bottle. And I actually watched the F1 in Vegas this year. You know what I mean? I thought it was cool. But I'm not a big fan of the oolong tea. And I'm not a fan of the lychee as much as I thought I would have been. The nose is inviting because it just feels like a sweet rye on the nose. And then you go in, and if you like unsweetened tea, this would be a bottle that I think you'd be somewhat okay with. I don't think you would hate it. I just don't think you'd love it. But I like my sweet tea has a side of diabetes in it. You know what I mean? Like, we're not even like, you give me unsweetened tea, that's fighting. We're fist fighting for sure. You know, hold on. Might be the Tanger still coated on the palate. Oh, there it is. That's that like bitter, like sweet tea bag feeling, unsweet tea bag feeling. I was gonna say that first little sip I took, I was like, you know what? It's not as bad as I remember. It's not horrible. Like, you're not gonna throw up drinking or anything like that. It's not like Malort. Boys, I'll tell you, on Thanksgiving I tried Malort. I quickly drank the habanero vodka to cleanse my palate because I thought I was about to die. That was a bad day. Not the day, but it was a bad moment. This is bad. I don't want to drink it. It's got a really bad aftertaste. That was stupid. I don't know why you guys talked me into that. Joker in the chat says, hello everyone, what's up? How's everyone's holiday? Back at it again with another banger. Joker, welcome back, baby. Happy Friday. Dorfler says, The day when the wife came home with Pipe Dream Architect, new riffs, single barrel, still awesome, cast strength. Just grabbed a bottle off the shelf at Total Wine for my birthday last year. So good. When was that, like a year ago? Are you saying it's your birthday right now? What's funny is, like, I remember, like, that was around the time that you became part of the channel, right? You guys just got some Pipe Dream, you got some new riff. I remember that, I think. And that's a good lineup. That's some of my favorites, to be honest. You got Pipe Dream, one of my favorite Redwoods. Architect, my favorite Penelope. Still Austin Cast Strength Bourbon, probably one of the best Still Austins. You can grab any one of those at any given time and be good. You know what I mean? Like, have a good time. So, you know, that's before we got lucky, and like North Florida can take some credit there. Like, before we got the Russell's 15 and 13th Colony, like we hit a cruise mode once we got those. Then all of a sudden, then I had the Jack 10, and then I started finding a couple other ones. We hit a little divot, and then I kind of slowed myself down because I was like, hey, you could be surprised how much you can spend on whiskey in a year. We were cruising for a lot, but I had to pump the brakes a little bit. I got a kid. We got Christmas. I got some cool Christmas stuff though. We're not gonna do that this stream, but maybe a different stream. I'll show you what I got for him for Christmas. Good time. All right, let's get some water. January's your birthday. Yeah, it's close. It's coming. Let's put this back. Your birthday's coming. North Florida, we should go to that. Like, I know you said it like 18 million years ago, but around your birthday, we should go to like that fish hawk thing, right? That's what it's called, fish hawk. I feel like we have some local people now. We can get a whole party going. Somehow people join the Discord, and I have no idea how. I don't really post a link, but welcome to the Discord, boys. If you're just tuning in, you're jumping in the door to Discord, welcome. Also, side note, really cool milestone. We're about 80 subscribers away from hitting 4,000. I wanted to hit 5,000, but I haven't put in the work. So I can't really say, hey, we should. But if we could hit 4,000 before the end of the year, that'd be really cool. So if you haven't subscribed, do it. Wait, it's free. Alex Martinez. Cameo Fashion. A couple days ago, a truck crashed into my apartment. What? Truck crashed into my apartment. Been staying on the couch until I'm allowed back. God first. Damn, Alex. I'm glad you're okay. I mean, hopefully you're okay. Were you home? Like, I don't even know how to respond to that, bud. Like, were you home? Like, are you good? Like, it sucks that something crashed into your apartment, but like, were you at work or something? Shout out to Alex out here fighting off trucks, bro. I know you just said that, but I don't know how to respond to that, though. I'm glad you're okay, though, Alex. You seem like you're okay if you're in here, so. Anyways, so what time is it? 10:30. We haven't been. I guess we went live at 9 today. We've been live about an hour and a half. So I'll should we do a poll? I love me some good polls, you know. Let's do it. Let's do it. I won't even say it. We're just gonna do the poll. Then you can guess what Scott says bottle of the year for you. Scott, you know, I haven't seen you many times, but let me explain our New Year's. Let me sell you on spending your New Year's Eve with me. You know what I mean? Hold on. All right, so I just posted. It said, "Hey, end the stream, start a new one." Yes or no, keep going, then end it soon. Which means I can end the stream, start a new one, maybe come back in like 15, 20 minutes, and then kind of refresh. Or just end it in a little bit. So, Scott, real quick, a little sales pitch. Not really. It's not the end of the world. So, New Year's Eve, I always do a live stream. And I do it basically handful of hours up until about 30 minutes to an hour before the ball drops. Right? I don't know what I'll do this year exactly with the kids, so we'll debate on that soon. But I usually go live, and we do like the Call Me Old Fashioned Awards, where I tell you the best whiskey of the year, the best bottle of the year, the best pour of the year, my worst whiskey of the year, best mod for the year. I give out like a handful of awards. It doesn't mean anything. It's just something I do. And every year we get a little bit better, but I go through my entire collection as well, right? I'll tell you about every bottle that I own currently at that time. Tell you whether if I paid too much or not, and we kind of just go through my entire collection, and then we go through some awards, right? This year, I feel like it might be the best year because I'm a little bit more prepared for it. But you never know. I may drop the ball. But that's when I will like confirm, hey, this is the best bottle of the year for me. Because honestly, I'm torn. I'm torn between like 3 bottles right now, right? And like there's been a couple other that kind of like dabble in, and you never know. I get a new one, all of a sudden that's my new love. So, Russell's 15 from 2024 I got this year. It's been a hot topic. Tanager, Still Awesome Tanager, 2024. It's a fantastic bottle up there. I also have a rye in the mix, a little JD, Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. I've gone through 3 bottles this year. I'm about to go through a 4th. You know what I mean? Like, there's a couple other that I want to keep saying because I want it to be cool for the award ceremony. You know what I mean? It's like the Emmys of bourbon. Whatever. He's like, heck yeah, sounds awesome. It's fun. It's a good time. People come in and out the night. It's not like everybody stays the whole night. But I leave for the Eastern ball drop, and then I come back, and we usually watch like the California ball drop together. We do countdowns. We do some stuff. You know what I mean? You can go watch the past 2 years. My first live stream ever was on New Year's Eve. So it's also the anniversary of the channel. That's why I do that. So we did the first year. There was like a handful of people. Mr. Lopez, Tux, maybe Joker. I'm not 100% sure. The second year we had quite a few people, like some OGs in the chat, right? Tune in, and it was a good time. And every year gets a little bit better. So my collection gets bigger. The awards get more important. We added in the best mod, so that a lot of them have been taken a little too serious this year. So that one's going to be the tightest race of them all because somebody's going to be mad. Everybody but one person is going to be mad this year for sure. But let's see. Let's do. All right. We're 3-1 right now in the votes. It says yes, let's end it, start a new one. Another one says no, keep it going, end this shit because I'm tired. You know what would be a deciding factor? What's the temp? Because I could go do a little cigar stream. That sounds good. You know what I mean? A little cigar stream. It's 39 in Nashville. That's not good here. 67 degrees and just getting colder. Tomorrow's going to be a high of 66. Okay. Scott says, right on, just subscribe and hit the notifications. So hopefully I'll catch some of New Year's awards. It'll be New Year's Eve, probably after 7, let's just call it 8 p.m. I don't know when I'll start exactly, but after 8 p.m. I should be on. Just depends. What day is it? What day is New Year's Eve? New Year's Eve is on a Wednesday. That's brutal. That's mid-fucking week. We'll see. I got to get something new for New Year's Eve too, you know? Norfolk says, smash the like button, subscribe, join the Discord. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not in the Discord already, feel free to join. It's not super popping right now. I've been a little inactive too. Like, don't let me make it out here like I'm just in the Discord every day. I try to be, but I've been busy. I've been busy the past couple weeks with a bunch of stuff. So, but I usually let you guys know when I finish a bottle. Definitely let you know when I pick something up. I haven't picked up a lot this month though, or last month. Alex says, I started smoking cherry cigars after that damn accident. Cherry cigars. What's a cherry cigar? North Florida says Florida. It's still hot. Yeah, but like, is it good enough to sit by a fire? You know what I mean? That's all that's important to me. Can I sit by a fire and light up a cigar? So let's do this. It's almost 11. Let's go a little bit longer. Let's do one more pour. Then I'll end the stream, and if it's cold enough, I'll go smoke a cigar by the fire. Do a little quick late night pour type stream. If not, if it's not cold, I really don't want to do it. Not cold, just chilly. Like, would I feel okay outside by a fire? That's all I need, you know? So let's do one more pour. You guys can pick it. Should we do a Redwood Empire? I haven't done one of those in a while. Should we do a Jack Daniel's Heritage Barrel? Or should we pick something off the bookshelf? The bookshelf, you don't even know what's on here. You know what I mean? I have some Hard Truth Wheated Bourbon. I have some 1792 Full Proof. I also have some sweeter ones like the Short Barrel Honey and Sapsquatch, like the Bee's Knees and Sapsquatch. I have the Oak Bowery, which is the Bruzel bottle. Elijah Craig, some Four Roses single barrel strength. That's a good one. That's a good one. And I have a shit ton of double oaks that I need to break into for the winter. A little Peerless sounds pretty good too. Or we can just completely swap it up and go Hibiki, a little Japanese whiskey. Who here's had Hibiki? If you haven't had Hibiki, we need to change that. Alex says, yeah, I snuck in and locked all my whiskey bottles. There you go. That's how you do it. I'm glad you're okay, Alex, though. That's important. All the other, like the whiskey bottles, I mean, I'm glad they're safe too, granted, but more importantly, I'm glad you and the family are safe. That's all that really matters to me. Or, you know what? I really haven't drank this in a while, or damn near ever on the channel. Let's do that. Because I don't even remember the last time I drank that, and I bought it. It's kind of pricey. So I feel like it needs to get its love, you know? So let's go to second cam. Bow. Camera died. That camera is not good. All right. Now, camera 2. I almost blinded y'all boys. Was my beard in focus? What's happening here? All right, so we have Bardstown Bourbon Company double-barreled Discovery Series, number 13. This one's 110.8 proof. It's basically a Bardstown double oak. You know what I mean? I remember it being fantastic. North Florida says, "Oh, I need that Heritage Barrel." I had to grab the 10-year, blew my budget. Honestly, I'm okay with it. The 10-year is harder to get too, so the 10-year is fantastic. Glad to see the Heritage on the shelves most places. I know. So like, remember, there's a couple bottles that are becoming shelfers that a lot of people hyped up and a lot of people bought the shit out of them, but eventually should see them on the shelves. That's the Old Fit 7. It's the old, the Old Granddad 7-year, the Jack Daniel's single barrel Heritage Barrel, the Sazerac Rye Full Proof. Those are all supposed to be shelfers. There's another one too, right? I have one more. Can't remember. There's another one too. I just don't know. I don't remember what it is. Norfolk says, I've not had Hibiki. I think Hibiki is its own unique little lane, right? It's low proof. It's like 86 proof. It's light. It's sweet. It's floral and citrus. It's its own vibe. But making like a smoked Japanese old fashioned, it's fantastic. So that bottle reminds me of date night with the wife before the kids. We used to go to PF Chang's, get like a table of food and some Japanese old fashions. And that's what they use when you ask for the higher shelf one. And I always did because it's never that much more. Like they're pretty good on prices because they know they're making their money on the food. So, oh, Scott's in Colorado too. A lot of people in Colorado here. Not North Florida, but you know what I mean. Joker, Tux. But yeah, it's good to see that it's actually hitting the shelves like they said it would. Yeah, the 13th Colony 113 is also a shelfer now, which is also really cool. Anyways, it's got like a great nose, just like Bardstown usually does. Oh, I forgot it has this. So basically, the mash bill of this is a blend of 4 different whiskeys. It's a blend of 45% Kentucky 9-year, 22% Kentucky 9-year, different mash bill, 20% Kentucky 15-year, and 13% Kentucky 8-year. Now, the Kentucky 9-year has 2 different mash bills, 74 and 78% corn, 18 and 10% rye, and 8 and 12% malted barley. So it kind of just fluctuates a little bit between the two. The 15-year, that is 20%, is 75% corn, 13% rye, and 12% malted barley, which I feel like that's the most important part, right? I get it's only 20% versus 45, but to be honest, like the 20% of a 15-year feels pretty good. That and it has more of a bourbon-esque profile with still like a decent size of rye, but it also being aged in a double barrel here. So it says Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey double barreled in American and then Hungarian oak. So aged normally in American oak and then aged extended time in the Hungarian oak, which I believe the Hungarian oak is part of Angel's Envy triple oak. So it's Hungarian oak, American oak, and Chicopin or Chicopin, something like that oak is part of the Angel's Envy triple oak. Triple oak's good, but it's not like anything too crazy. I got that one super early on. But this one, let's do a little nose and palate test here. It feels like a little high proof on the nose. Got a little ethanol, but a lot of sweet, dark notes, like dark caramel, brown sugar, chocolate. That's fantastic. It drinks a little bit higher than 110. Yeah, it's like it's a really good double oak. For granted. Now the price on this one's a little tough for most people. I can't remember. I believe it's 150. Ballparked, right? Ballpark that number. Could be a little bit more. Could be a little bit less. It was sitting on the shelf at Total Wine, and honestly, I think it sits on the shelf because it's the price. And a lot of people, like, if you're not a big fan of double oak, you're not going to buy it because you're not going to spend 150 on a double oak. Me, love double oaks. I have a whole shelf of them. I got Jim Beam, Peerless, Yellowstone double oak, Lucky 7, Barrel, Starlight, Woodford's Double Double, Nulu, 1910 Old Forsters, and the Bardstown. So I love double oak. This one fits right in my wheelhouse of things that I personally like. So I knew I would like it. I think it's a great pour. This would be a really cool bottle to share with people. Somebody that doesn't want to spend the money, but like I like the bottle, I like the profile, so I'm okay with spending it. But like being able to share with a couple other people, see what they think would be really cool. But I'm not giving 150 whiskey to people that want to take shots. Alex says, pouring a Glen of whiskey made me feel like nothing ever happened. Cleared my mind. I mean, it sucks though, bro. I get it. Like, I mean, I don't get it, but I understand. Like, I'm glad there's something that can help you de-stress maybe take your mind off it for a minute, but hopefully you kind of bounce back from that, and then maybe it is like nothing ever happened. So I also want to drink that hibiki. So I poured a really small pour of that. Maybe we circle back, but let's do the hibiki real quick. Just so I can show everybody what the hibiki is. That I haven't had it in a while. So all right, so let's dive into the hibiki. Now the hibiki is kind of pricey, right? Hibiki is on average $100 per bottle. I believe like it's like 99 bucks, right? And it was hard to find for a little bit. So I ordered mine off Uber Eats from somewhere, and they just happened to have it, you know. But now you can get it at Total Wine, stuff like that around here. So it's a little bit easier to find. But it is 86 proof for 750 milliliters. It's Hibiki, part of Suntory whiskey, Japanese Harmony, and it says a meticulous blend of the finest selection of whiskey. It's Japanese whiskey. It's light. You can't expect to have a lot of punch, and especially because of the proof. But it's also really cool decanter, right? So it has like panels. I can't remember exactly, but I believe each one of these are a season in Japan, which is really cool. Now, granted, if I was crazy enough, I would peel the labels off and I would make this a really cool decanter. The cork's solid, the top's solid, but this cork, for some reason, holds the liquid really well. So I'm curious, like, if I were to pour a whole nother bottle in it, would it break off? Because it's constantly soaking wet. And I almost never tip this bottle. This bottle sits up there all the time, and it never gets, like, really wet. But this has to be one of the most solid corks I've found. But being that wet just kind of has some concerns for me. North says, so who you got winning the Super Bowl? I got the Jags. North Florida, get the fuck out of here. The Jags ain't winning shit. Honestly, I think the Lions will make it from the West. And unfortunately, it's probably going to be the Chiefs. You know what I mean? It's probably like, you know, the refs pay them off. I would like what I would want to see, like an ideal Super Bowl for me would be Lions versus I'd like the Jags to go. I think that'd be a good time. I just don't think that will happen. The Colts going would just be a total like holy shit moment. I don't care for the Colts, but Daniel Jones going from 0 to Super Bowl champ just has something to me that just makes me want to laugh. I don't think it's the Ravens. I think the Bills will choke. So who's the other one that's pretty up there? I can't remember. Tampa versus Lions would be a really cool Super Bowl to me, but who knows? What do you guys think? Who's going to the Super Bowl to you guys? Yeah, Hibiki is just like it's so unique. It's so different than everything else on my shelf. That's why I like this one so much. It's like it's just it has its own profile, its own little lane in a sense, where it's not bourbon, right? Granted, but it's not whiskey either. Like I mean, it's whiskey. That was a bad way of putting that, but it's not like super harsh or anything super limited, but it's light, really soft, like pillowy on the palate. Very quick, so like no finish. But when you gotta dive into the palate part, it's all like oranges and like rose petals, right? So it's like floral vibes with like citrusy orange, right? A little citrus orange and maybe a little grapefruit. I find that like just super unique because you still get like a hint, like just a smidgen hint of like a vanilla caramel, Like it feels like it's there because it naturally feels a little bit sweeter, but it's almost like an afterthought where like the orange and like I'm calling it rose, like rose petal vibes kind of takes the forefront. And then obviously, traditional kind of like whiskey vibe to it is kind of there. Why this pairs so well with a Japanese old fashioned is it's almost like a good base. And an old fashioned, you're adding stuff to it, right? If you add an orange bitter and a cherry in there, and like let's say cherry wood, right? Then those things really stand out on its own versus when you try to combine it with like a super expensive or a fancy whiskey, it kind of gets mulled together. Where this is like a really good like platform for that stuff for those cocktails. It's good by itself, but it's just not the downside is the proof really, and the age is like next to none, right? You can see how light this bottle is. Now Hibiki has some more expensive versions. They got longer age, they got different finishes and stuff like that, and those are dumb expensive. You know what I mean? It's just hard to pick those out. So I think I said Lion. I just realized I said Lions and Tampa. That's not even possible. Tampa's on the same side as Lions. Final four would be cool with Tampa and Lions being that final game. So one of those go. But then the other side, I have no idea. North Florida says currently Rams are odds favorites to win the Super Bowl. I don't think so. Like I get like where they're coming from because Matt Stafford's not a bad QB. They got Devontae Adams. They got Puka Nacua. Williams as a running back. Not a bad team. I just don't see it. Followed by Seahawks. Oh my God, Seahawks in the Super Bowl would fucking be hilarious. Packers, Eagles, Bills. That's why I hope for the Jags. I don't see the Eagles. I see them choking. Seahawks, as much as that would be like a really cool like Cinderella story, I just don't see that. I see the Bills going, but I see the Bills choking. I see the Bills going to like that Final Four style and choking against whoever they play. Would I hope for the Jags? Absolutely. Miami's going to win the Super Bowl though, so until they're completely out of it, they're winning the Super Bowl. That's how I roll. Because they keep fucking winning and losing us draft picks, so you know what I mean? Like it's Dolphins till it's not. Unfortunately. Alex says laughing face. All right, cool. I get it. It is what it is. It is till it's not. Ladies and gentlemen, we're 80 subscribers away from 4,000. If you haven't already and you're watching, drop a like on the stream. Let the YouTube algorithm know you like the content. And also let the people know to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, what are we doing? Why are you watching me then? It's kind of weird. I mean, I appreciate it, but kind of weird. But back to my Hibiki for a minute. The Hibiki is good. I wouldn't say it's worth the $100 though. But the part where I would say it is worth it is like if you look at everything that I own, this one is so unique, so different, so standout-ish. Even though it's not as like standout-ish as like in the way most people want. It's why I like it. It's almost like a refresher, right? You still get a little whiskey, but it's different than everything else I own. It's not like this double oak here. It's not like the proof there. It's not like anything like that one. So I like it because of that. It just stands out. You know what I mean? So it's a good bottle. Now, that pour was fantastic though. When I took a little bit bigger swig than I normally did, it's like oranges. North Florida says, I'm a Dolphin fan also, just to be clear. I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying, like, you're hoping for the Jags, and I didn't hear you say, go fins up, baby. Honestly, like, I don't want the Dolphins to win the Super Bowl. I mean, I do. Don't let me say that. But if the Dolphins keep winning, all I could hope is we get into the playoffs and we win one playoff game. So I can see us win one playoff game in my lifetime. I may die soon, You never know. So let me see a win. The Panthers are not doing good either, so that's a different story. We're just kind of losing all around this year. You never know. There's always hope. But, ladies and gentlemen, we've been live for about 2 hours now, so I think that's where we kind of end it for the night. I may pop on. I'm going to go check the temperature, refresh. I may pop on live again. You never know. So keep the bell turned on. If not, maybe I'll chat in Discord for a little bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, do all that jazz. And I will see you gents on the other side. Peace.
Yeah, pour it up, let the bourbon speak. Call me old-fashioned, we bringing that heat. 100 proof, sipping flavor on blast. Dabbling with the rear view, raise your glass. Bourbon hunting for unicorns, that's the chase. High ride heat, put a smile on my face. Respect to the OGs, yeah, they set the tone. Tucks, Mr. Lopez, I rock, there it gone. Notes hit strong, old key smooth ride. I'll see you on the other side. Yeah, pour it up, let the bourbon speak. Call me old-fashioned, we bringing that heat. 100 proof, sipping flavor on blast. Dabbling with the rear view, raise your glass. Bourbon hunting for unicorns, that's the chase. High ride heat, put a smile on my face. Respect to the OGs, yeah, they set the tone. Tucks, Mr. Lopez, I rock, there it gone. Notes hit strong.